Have you done all your warm-up exercises?
Unique New York.
Polyphonic Peach.
New York.
Perfect pouring.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
What is that?
Polyphonic Peach.
The perfect pour of Polyphonic Peach. Pick a pack of Polly for a perfect prize. Hello and welcome to another episode of Line Notes. I'm Tom, one of the co-founders here at Signature Brew, and this is your series through the looking glass into the magical world that is Signature Brew, and in particular, the beers themselves. We're talking recipes, we're talking liquid, we're talking designs, and we're talking the names as well. And this week, I'm joined by a special guest, none other than Tim Denlisars, one of the OG brewers here at Signature Brew, experienced head, funny guy, and the world's best Turkish brewer.
Yeah, maybe the only one. It's a pleasure to be here, Tom. Just in here, I've been here a while, but I'm here now. So.
Well, how long have you been here?
It's coming on 6 years now this year. So yeah, I've been here since not the very start, but.
What's your favourite beer you've brewed at Signature Brew?
Polyphonic Peach.
Good answer.
Yeah, it's Polyphonic Peach is a recipe that I had a hand in developing along with Tom Unwin, the head brewer.
That's what that taste is.
Yes, yeah. So it's a beer that's very. I would call it, and I will take responsibility from the recipe from Tom Unwin. I might as well do it publicly now. I would consider it like my first beer that I would say I was involved with. I'll backtrack a little bit after this. So this is Poly Peach. It's our newest fruited sour. We first released it last year and it was received so well we're giving it another spin.
And is that your first music pun you've slipped in so far?
Yes, it is my first of many.
Can't wait for the other 1,000.
Well, you know, I like to keep it on a light note. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm the only person who will enjoy them. None of the people watching.
But a Polyphonic Peach is a sour fruited with peach, but it also has an addition of darjeeling, loose leaf tea as well, loose leaf tea, and it gives it kind of like a dry, tanniny finish. Gives it the fruitiness, a bit more complexity, adding notes of like more stone fruity or maybe slightly more floral notes to it as well. And the peach, obviously, is peachy.
Well, I think you've teased me enough. Can we try it now?
Yeah, sure. Let's crack it open.
Yeah.
Got sort of like a golden, hazy hue. Nice white foamy head.
The head retention on this beer in particular is very good. It's usually whenever we do a fruited sour, we'll put more wheat into the grist, which will essentially help with head retention later on. So that's why you get that lovely thick head on the pour.
Nice. Should we have a taste?
Yeah, let's. Always taste with the nose first in my game.
I think it makes you choke.
Very kind of like tart peach aroma on the nose.
How do you smarten this up from than saying it just tastes like peach and tea?
It tastes like peach and tea. The thing that the tea gives, other than the kind of like flavour profile earlier of having something maybe a bit more floral or something maybe with a bit more zestiness to it, the tannins from the tea also give it a very dry finish, almost puckering, in a way that just kind of sits at the back of your palate. So it adds an extra dimension, as per the name polyphonic, as to mean lots of overlaying sounds and things like that. It's got quite a lot of elements to it, and I feel like the more you drink it, the more you'll get some maybe slightly more complex bitter elements or astringency from the tea.
I suppose that's all laid over a really clean sourness, which is giving a sort of tart background to the peach and the tea flavour.
Yeah, it's a nice clean sour base. We do our sours such as this one using a kettle souring process.
So on the souring process, I've previously on Line Notes described how souring works. It may have been accurate, it may have been inaccurate. But for the benefit of the dear viewer, do you want to do it again?
Sure. So kettle souring is maybe one of the safer forms of souring. Not that the bacteria produced are particularly harmful on their own, as long as treated properly. A lot of souring process more traditionally in like Belgium, amongst the more popular sour bacteria strains available in their environment. So when you're souring beer, with a kettle sour, you're able to use specific. So once the lactobacillus started create that sour flavour, so in this case, measurements every day and work towards that target pH.
Well, that was an in-depth explanation.
We might need some cutting down.
If you were to describe souring for an idiot, imagine I'm an idiot.
Sure.
For a second.
Okay.
Have you imagined it?
Yeah, sure.
It didn't take you long. What is souring to the layman?
Okay, so in very basic terms, we're allowing we're allowing a bacteria. Okay, in very basic terms, souring is the process of creating lactic acid within a wort before you ferment it to create a sour tart flavour in the beer.
Wow, that sounds interesting, Tim. I'd love to learn more another time. So Tim, I've done a bit of detective work.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be peach in this.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be tea in this. And based on the fact that all beers have water, yeast, hops and malts, there'll be those four too.
Well, I'll surprise you with this. There are no hops in this beer.
What?
That was like a real YouTube comment. You won't believe what's in this beer.
Craft breweries hate this.
But in hops we trust.
Yeah, I know. Hops are a very central part, especially contemporary craft brewing. We love a hazy juice bomb. More hops, the better. But from a souring perspective, hops having their antibacterial properties as they do can actually impede the bacteria that we want to be active in the souring process. So we don't add hops just so we're not inhibiting the bacteria from working. You can actually add hops into sour beers. It's just you can't do it before you do the souring process. Otherwise, you'll destroy the bacteria you're trying to keep to create the flavour you want.
Right, so let's have a look at the can, and starting off with the name, Polyphonic Peach. What does polyphonic mean again, Tim?
It means many sounds overlapping each other at once. Polyphonic, many
so like
sounds.
The peach and the tea in harmony.
Yeah. So, in brewing we have polypeptides. That's many peptides.
I smell a lecture. So, the design, as ever, beautiful. And I quite like the stylized one here. It's obviously drawing on the colour of peach, but they've got the sound waves going through to represent the polyphonic. And it does look a bit like that one Tame Impala album that I can't remember the name of.
Is it Currents?
Is it Currents? It could be Currents.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Someone will check for us later. Yeah, it's like with all our artwork, I always get an impression that a lot of care is taken into having that link with music. But they all have their kind of own identity that could almost be album covers, and we often do prints of just the artwork on their own, just to hang around the walls around the brewery here.
And it's just a great broader representation of what the artists inside of Signature Brew are trying to represent with each different beer. And there's a different theme and approach to every single one, and each has its own identity, which is always really interesting. There's always tiny little cues within there, and I think it's always an exciting journey to go on with every single beer. This one, for example, has the sort of the bubbles floating around here, which is obviously representing the carbonation, and is a future burp yet to happen. And yeah, there's just so many nice little cues on here.
Future burp is the next Tame Impala album.
It's just going to be this can, but with future burp.
So that's everything you need to know about Polyphonic Peach. Thank you again for tuning into Liner Notes. I hope that was a pleasant few minutes of your life. Tim, thank you very much for joining us.
It's been an absolute delight.
Check out signaturebrew.co.uk for all the latest news on Signature Brew and to grab the beers online. Cheers.
Thank you.
I was hoping I had a burp.
Did not know the synchronised cheers was happening at the end.